Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another super summer episode of Unsealed and Revealed. I am your host, Jeff May, and with me, I have, as always, our resident sixth scale enthusiast slash expert and all around valuable asset to know, Guy Klender. Guy, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I am the greatest, and I appreciate you asking. Now, of course, we also have our stalwart moderator, Cassidy, on the ones and twos, and she'll be taking your questions, comments, and concerns throughout all the live channels. Cassidy, how you doing?
Good. I'm also, can I say the greatest? I feel the greatest.
You are. I mean, I say it all the time. I'm glad you finally get to say that you're the greatest. Now, I know we are all very, very excited about the episode that we're going to be doing today. This is a long-awaited piece, something that we have been waiting for quite some time. And of course, that is the Mandalorian Sixth Scale from Hot Toys. Guy, you and I have been chomping at the bit to do this, begging for them to give us a chance to get a piece of this, and we finally got it. Now, as you can see, my man Guy Klender is back in the studio, and he is feeling great, as we had said before. Now, we are, of course, continuing to practice safe social distance and being safe in all regards. And super producer Sam is over there behind the camera, more than 6 feet away, wearing a mask, and nobody else is in the studio with Guy. Now, as always, we are doing our best to ensure the good health of ourselves and others. Now, Guy, let's take a look at the figure.
All right. Thank you. This is a great one. Yes, Jeff, you're absolutely correct. This is one that we've both been very, very excited about. So let's take a look from our overhead camera. We're going to see that we've getting our classic art, and then we've now been given a couple of the Mandalorian figures where we get this wraparound with that neat kind of warm desert orange color. I really like that on there. This side here, we're going to have with the slung over.
Yeah, it's funny that just that simple band, the color choice of that very simple band, grasps the entirety of that series.
And I like that it's a continuing thing. What I like about it, because there are some that display with the box, or they like that, they'll kind of library them up, and the fact that they kind of have a continuation like that is really neat. I really like that. Okay, slide that off our traditional shoebox, and we've got our first photograph of the character right here. And this is an amazing shot. I love what they've done with it. I've loved giving it that background there and a bit of an action pose.
Yeah, I love that vignette style of camera work there, where it almost looks like it's in a video camera itself with the curving of the
exactly. All right, we slide that off, and here we are, our inner tray. We're going to pull this up and out.
Now, let me tell you, Guy, I was at New York Comic Con when we had these out, and there were, I would say, I'm not kidding, probably 10 to 15,000 people took photos of these.
Oh yeah,
when they were made sort of visible at New York Comic Con. This is unbelievable. This piece.
Yeah, this is so neat to have in hand. So here's how this is set up. We have our top cover tray, and on the top cover tray is where we're going to have our additional hands, tracking fob, as well as his detonator there. So we're going to set those off. Next up, this is going to be your next layer tray. You're going to have his blaster and the electric grid, we'll say. Then our character, underneath that, we're going to have some of the accessories, and then underneath that, the base, okay? Also have your all-important instructions, okay? And there are some important ones in here, and there's some things that aren't necessarily fully covered in here that I do want to talk about with this guy.
Yeah, Guy loves him some instructions.
Well, when you and you and I have spoken about this before, when you invest in something like this, it's to not look ahead and to just kind of throw it together is it's a gutsy move. It's a very gutsy move. All right, so let's pull out our first accessory, and one I think is really darn unique. I love that they brought it back in the show. And that is the Long Blaster here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this originally in animated form.
Yep.
With Boba Fett in the much loved and super popular Christmas special.
Yes. Yes, where we learned of Life Day. And I love that in the show, I love that they even talk about that.
When I saw this piece get pulled out in The Mandalorian, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? It was such a wonderful, it was that positive level of fan service that I think is what this show was all about.
Yeah. So let's take a look here. And this is a great angle that we have here because it's letting you see that wood grain technique that is down here in the stock. Okay. The metallics in here as well. You're getting up into those copper bronzes. And then down at the end here, see that kind of heat dispersion. I love the coloring on there. Now what I've set behind here is the little electric blast that you can attach to that, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but I want to show you a few more things about the weapon itself. First up, on his uniform, or outfit, shall we say, we see a lot of the little tubes that are his ammo, and you can actually kind of put one in the figure's hand, and if you wanted, you'll see that lifts up, so he can kind of be doing a reload.
I mean, just that level of thinking to have that option is like somebody might want to reload.
Somebody might want to display him that way. Another neat one is over here on this side. We've got his scope. I'm going to delicately do this, but the scope can be removed. Okay, you see it's got the two little pegs on there, and then on it, two little holes. And this is so you can pose him. Remember when he's up on the top of a bluff looking downward, he uses this as to kind of look down and spy on there. So that's kind of a neat, another just very cool little added thing that they've done there. And it holds in there nice and tight. Next thing is going to be how it attaches to his uniform or costume, shall we say?
Because it's like slung over his shoulder.
It is,
correct?
yeah. It's a single over the shoulder kind of sling on there, and it's neat to see when he kind of flips that around. So you've got a little pivot point here. Okay, the leather has another pivot point right there. You've got your buckle here. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Is this here and how it attaches. You'll see it has a little peg. Okay, we're going to see on the main body outfit part when we actually do it is how it clips in there. That's a delicate little piece. Okay, so it's one of the things that you're going to want to be cautious with, and we'll get into that later. But I did want you to see kind of where that peg is.
This is a reminder too that when we're going into something like this, like the high-end toy and collectibles world here, that you don't want to just fly in and just start smashing things together. You know, definitely be very, very careful. Use the small implements and tools that Guy would suggest as well, because I know he knows he's got them all, the tweezers and the cloths and everything. But for sure, one of those situations where we want to be careful and we want to make sure that we protect your investment of what you love.
Yeah. Here is the little blast shooting out that we see where he uses this in the beginning of the pilot episode. I love the differential of color. We got kind of these lighter purples going into the blues, and then the clear and translucent. This is a softer material. It does hold its shape, but being that softer material, when you slide this over the front end, you don't have to worry that you're going to be scratching it. So it's just another neat way. It's just another fun display option.
That's really rad. Yeah,
That's-
that's pretty cool. That giant, it was like a sea worm that was going
Yeah,
after
that's
it.
coming after him. You know,
Great.
I watched it again last night, and the one guy says the name of it, and I blanked on it.
It was the thing that ate Brian Posehn, right?
Exactly. So let's take out the other things that are inside said box. We also have his other pistol.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot of use.
Yep. And here is our figure himself. Just standing this guy in a static stoic pose, and he's an out of the box perfect. You needn't worry.
It looks so good.
It's just that good.
Does
And we
he
will
have,
go head to toe.
Guy, does he have the Beskar shoulder armor? Or is
Yes,
he
he does.
Full on.
Now, what you're going to
okay.
you're going to take a look at, and that's why I want to pull out the rest of all the accessories so we can kind of go through everything. Because another neat one is the base. And all, yes. So here's what we have in the tray. I'm going to move the figure down for a sec, off to the side. These are all of the items that are going to come off on the side of there. I like this. They're telling you they are so sharp, they've added a little bit of foam on the tips.
Oh, wow.
Little foam on the tip. Okay. You see how it kind of has that warm copper spike look, goes down into the brown, and then it is kind of a copper there. Okay. These are the two spikes that will attach into the base plate. Okay. We've seen this type base plate, but this is a little different with these added parts there. And so we will kind of set those on there. Okay. Those will slide in. And then this is your other accessory that comes with that.
Man, that is so cool.
Which is a very, very gruesome looking
I mean,
deal.
when we saw the trailer for The Mandalorian, when we first saw that, this was one of the primary images we saw, where it was the sort of the Stormtrooper helmets on the pikes.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, definitely told us what was going to go down was going to be much different than what we were used to. So that helmet there, as you can see, does definitely have that outdoor weathered and beaten look, as well as the cut and the dried aspects on there. It has the cloth that hangs down. On the top, you have your square hole. And then on the inside, see that they've reinforced it. There's a little piece there that holds that when you do put it on. Yes, your instructions are going to tell you that that pike is sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's an interesting choice. Definitely be careful with that. Remember saying be careful, don't break.
Correct.
Don't break the toy itself, but also, hey, be careful, don't
right. Now I've not
don't break yourself up.
placed it all the way into the base, but you can choose. You have the shorter or the longer, and you can kind of choose how you'd like to do that. Okay, but I did want to show it off because I think it's really neat. Also in there is going to be this one here, which you'd asked about, and that is his other shoulder pauldron. That's kind of a Stormtrooper with a bit of a blue Clone Wars type look. But when we're going to get a close-up on here, this one here, you see that they've just done some incredible aging on here. You got all the nicks and the dirt and such are all placed on there. Really done. That's one of the things that really sets this particular figure apart from some of our others, is the attention to detail in the weathering.
Yeah, well, it's funny too because a lot of troopers, I mean, we've seen, obviously we saw the remnant, with the beating on it, but like most of these action figures, like with Stormtroopers and stuff, they're very polished, they're very clean, they're supposed to look really buffed. This is not the same situation.
No. Now, you see on the back there is your Velcro. Figure will come with the Beskar. The end of the episode.
There it is.
All right. These are a Velcro version. All right, that'll attach
cool.
onto it. We're gonna
Is
set
that something that
up.
we haven't really, Guy? We haven't really seen a lot of Velcro on a Hot Toys piece before, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they've done that with his some of the armament here, and that does allow for a little bit more play. Okay, I like that it's going to be the beginning of the episode, so I am going to put on the other Pauldron. I also liked the break in the color like that. I like that there was just that small hint of any color on the character. Now that we've got this in a bit of a close-up here, let's talk about it from head down. Okay, that Beskar helmet is amazing. You can see it from there. I mean, we know this is one of the most durable metals in the Star Wars galaxies. So we don't have any real dents or gouges or anything like that, but we do have that dirt quality added around any of the little folds stuff that we have.
That's great. Good job to the painters.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, look at that.
Isn't that neat?
I love that. It's funny too because we've been given primarily Boba Fett as far as what a Mandalorian helmet looks like. So to see it sort of clean and sleek, because Boba Fett's has the dents in it. It has the scanner on it.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different. That this sleekness and this cleanliness to it, it really did make it sort of pop on the show. And then you see it on the figure, and it pops as well.
Yes. As an articulation point, we've got our standard ball joint up on the top there, and you also have the one under the neck. So you got a lot of movement available. And what was always neat about, and particularly on Mandalorian, is because we never see him without a helmet. It's those little subtle turns and gestures that he does with it that brings that character to life, and that just shows a huge amount of what they've been able to accomplish.
A massive shout out to the actors.
Oh yeah, those that are they're bringing him to life there. All right, so then let's take a look as we're working down through the neck. We see that cape. You got that up and over here, and then kind of the cross and over there. I love the way that they do that fold there. On the other Pauldron here, I love the aging on that. Okay, let's again. Deep hit and dent, heavy duty scratches, multiple paint applications in that. And you're also getting that over onto the chest plate there. Okay, now that strap that goes across is a leather strap. It does have what appears to be stitching on there. This is stitched, however, they are two pieces, but they're not stitched together. They are an adhered together piece. Up here, when you've got this little pouch, that's not one that will open or anything like that. That's just another little heads up. Now that there is the little metal piece where the gun will sling over with, and we're going to talk about that and show how to do that a little bit later. These are those individual cartridges we talked about that are there. Then down on the belt, we see that he has two of his little explosive units and a spot for the third one to go in there. And we are going to attach that as well. In just a moment, we're going to dress him all the way up with his last little bits there. Take a look at right over here. Again, just that weathering, that pitting, the scratches, the dirt and such. I really, really can't get over how well these things are done that way. And again, that's those little hits of color I like.
That paint crew, the art crew on this piece really knocked it out of the park, and really this is why this was such a showstopper. Wherever it went, wherever it traveled. And I have that vivid memory of being at New York Comic Con with Sideshow, and just the amount of people that were just blown away by these two pieces.
Yeah, the hands against the glass to check it out. Now, as far as the outfit, the chest plate and all of his belts that are going on, these are not a removable thing. They are on there nice and snug. He does have a lot of posability, but realize that those outfits and those are going to slightly restrict some of that. Okay, particularly in chest movement. I'm going to flip the cape over and spin it around, and we're going to take a look at the back. He just dove at me.
Ooh,
he's very aggressive.
Thank God he's covered in all that armor.
Exactly. So there we go. We have the backside there.
You know, I'm wondering if in the comments right now, a million voices just cried out.
Yikes.
While you're doing that, by the way, speaking of the comments, Cassidy, I was supposed to hit you up a little while ago, but we were so into this. Cassidy, how we doing in the comments and the questions?
Good. That's totally okay. That's fine. I get it. Yeah, there are a lot of gasps and OMG and stuff like that. But we do have a few questions, one of which on Twitter we have at Force of Light asking, can Mando hold the helmet?
Can Mando hold the helmet? I'm going to say that the helmet cannot. Oh, do you mean the Stormtrooper helmet?
Oh, the Stormtrooper helmet?
Oh, yes, sorry. I should have definitely specified, yeah.
Yes, you could do, and we'll I'll put that in one of his hands. After I've done the final dress, we're gonna refer to it as. I'll do all that.
So we'll do one. We'll give that a try. What else we got?
David on YouTube wanted to know, does the armor plate restrict the placing of his rifle? But
I would assume.
The armor. I'm wondering which armor plate he's referring to. We are going to. I'm going to show you how you put his rifle across him. It is a unique deal. It actually goes through the cape, over the shoulder, and through a loop here in the back. That last shot that we have here, that is the back of the cross thing there, and you see that loop there. That is when we put the rifle up and over, it goes through the cape and through there. There is a little magnet on it, okay, that'll hold it open or closed. However, it is a large enough loop that I was able to just slide it through as well. Okay, but that's just to show you the back detail. And this is all detail that we never really see because it's covered up by the cape. Again, all of those little cylinders are removable. Now, as far as his grenade deals there, 2 of them are not removable, and the other one is solid in there. Okay, there we go. That's our holster for our pistol. I'm going to raise the arm so we see that. This actually slides up and out. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to place the pistol in there.
So that's one of those be careful when you're pulling it up situations too.
Yeah. Yep. Just be gentle when you're doing it. Again, I know we've talked a few times before about, I've said when to give the leather a little play when you're putting something in it, like I'm putting the gun into the holster. Give it a little bit of extra play by opening a little bit, like I said, with whether that be a wooden coffee stir. Wooden coffee stirs I use a lot. I don't have to worry about them really
damaging anything
where if you did metal. There we go, and then I've slid it back down in. So if we get there you go.
Yeah.
And you see how it goes.
Coffee stir is probably better than a toothpick because you can't like poke anything with it really.
Right. You might do the toothpick on here, but again, I just did that nice and slow. There was no tools used to do it this time. Okay, so that puts it there.
Great job, Guy.
No tools were used
you're doing great
in the assembly of this particular figure. All right, so that's there. Then we're going to move our way down to leg. Flipping the cape back and up and over.
So luxurious. What's the fabric of that cape, by the way? Do you know?
It's like a microfiber.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Micro fleece, maybe. We'll say.
That's the vibe I was getting from it. It looks like a very sort of like good worn, like hardy cape.
And I love the texture on it. It is very thin. There is no wire in here for any posing or anything like that, and that is basically because of the weathering. Let's take a look. Okay, Sam, thanks so much for that shot. That's a great one.
Oh,
look at the weathering that they've done. Down along the bottom, that fraying, then all the little holes down on the side there. There is one larger hole in the middle of the back. We're going to show that later on, which is when we do the rifle up and over. Okay, but now we are down here checking out the shin guards and the upper leg. I love all the pitting and the weathering and the I love that look. I love the look of it. I like the idea that some of this is found parts.
It really does. Like the lack of symmetry in this piece is what makes it so realistic, especially in a fall of the Empire time.
Yes.
When everything is sort of, that was a big push for everybody that wasn't Imperial in the original saga, is a lot of found technology.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of that.
Like we look on the left boot, and we've seen this before in Boba and the others in other colors, but again, even that blue, given that texturing and weathering. So it's now one solid color. Little pouch there on that side there. And then this side here looks a little bit like what we saw in some of the shore troopers and things like that, I think, with the little upper bit there and here. So it, again, also kind of has that found. I also like that has a hint of kind of a purple-esque.
Yeah, it does have a good little sheen to it. Now, for those of you who have just joined us, those shins that you're looking at right now belong to the Mandalorian Sixth Scale figure from Hot Toys. Now, also, don't forget, if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, and you do, make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell on our YouTube channel so you won't miss out on any of our content. We have loads of giveaways and events going on all the time, so we want to make sure you follow us also on our social channels like @CollectSideshow on Twitter and @Sideshow Collectibles on Instagram to keep an eye out for those. Now, speaking of content, I want to let you know that a little show called The Comics Hall, in which our resident comic book nerds, Amy and Paul, get together every week at 4 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday to talk about their recent haul. Now, this show is great for those who have been reading comics forever, or if you are newer fans and readers that want to get on board now. Now, you can catch them live on all of our social channels. This show is also available each week in podcast form on Acast, Apple Podcasts, and Alexa Flash Briefing. It's good to have them in the Sideshow podcast family. It was lonely, and I adore them. It's a great show. You should definitely check it out. Now, that being said, Guy, let's get back to this beautiful bounty hunter.
All righty. Now we're just about down to his feet here. And coming up on something that I know you and I always find fun. So we've got the little pouches that we talked about. Again, the little deals around his feet. Yep, those too are removable. I love the dust, dirt, and weathering on these boots. Spin that around, and we see on the
Let's go for it.
Blue, we do have the Velcro, or the elastic that holds that particular piece on. Velcro does, however, hold the two shin pieces on. Oh. Okay, that we talked about. But since we're down here at the shoes, Jeff, I want you to see something.
Yeah, what do we got? We got, Guy.
Are you ready for it?
Do we have Dread One?
Bam! Check it.
Now that's interesting. That looks like a classic futuristic work boot kind of look, which matches the top very well. You can tell that the design for this was sort of tactical work boot chic.
Yep. I love it. I think it's a fun, neat tread that they've added.
It looks like a real shoe strap,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
And this, turn it into the side things, is that ball jointed, so you get great range of motion in that one.
Good.
As such. Excellent.
How about a full? Give me a full knee bend on there. Let's see
full knee bend. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Ready for it. He's getting ready to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, they edited that scene out, I think, but I think there was going to be a scene where him just.
Yeah, it'll be in the Mandalorian special editions.
Exactly.
In 17.
Now, when I did that, I should probably make that. Kind of saw how that lifts there. Now this is also movable, so then I just pushed it down to get it in the right spot. Okay, so I don't want anybody thinking, oh well, if I put them in there, there's a gap. There's not. Okay, now I'm going to spin them to me when I do this, but I want to spin them around here. Okay, here are the last two little dress accessories to put on him that we're going to show. I'm going to put it down by his foot. Tracking fob.
I love that that's a thing. It makes sense that they would have it. It's just funny that it's there.
Oh, yes. And there's his third little guy. And when we first looked at him, we weren't sure if this was going to be a little magnet piece or not. It is not. On the back is a little bit of felt. Okay? So I'm going to set that in there. Kind of push down. Now the tracking fob also can slide in here. This is in your instructions. It's going to tell you where to place said pieces. But we are going to do them now. All right, so we've put our two pieces on there. All right, but here is where we want to talk about delicacy. Okay, I moved the cape so we can see that there's the one hole in the back. Okay, this is a larger hole. And then you see, oh, wow, thank you, Sam. Through there, you'll also see that loop that I showed you that was on the back that had the magnetic closure. What you're going to do is you're going to feed this through said hole into that, and then we're going to flip the front little strap over. So now I need to look at it. So I'm going to lift the cape up a little bit and do it. Now remember, you've got sharp edges on this, so go slowly through there. Okay, so I've fed it through the cape like so. This, as I said, can pivot on there, placing that through, and that closes up. And that's just kind of to make sure it doesn't.
This is that reminder, be careful with
exactly.
This. Guy is very careful with this, and you should be too.
Flipping that down. Then strap comes up and over into the front. Now here's what we need to discuss. That is going to clip in to the little front part. Okay, as I said, this is done as a little peg versus a magnet, and that's part of the design and the way we see it in the show. When he doesn't have the clip on, it does have kind of a large center circle like that. Be delicate when you're doing that. That is a very, very small piece. So for myself, I will be displaying it with it on his back pretty much all the time. Okay, and I say that because.
So wait, did you put it through the cape?
Yep, it goes through the cape.
It does. That's an interesting. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, and that is again, that's in your instructions like that. That is how he throws it through. There, I've placed it in and snapped that in like so. Okay. As I said, I think it's in your best interest to decide whether you're going to want it kind of up and over like that, or you're going to want the character holding the piece, and that is so you're not doing the most delicate little spot over and over and over. Okay, that's but it is neat. That's how it looks, kind of slung through.
And in the instructions, it tells you it goes through the cape.
Yeah.
That right? That's a
Yep.
interesting choice.
That's what I said. I was like, oh, it's
cool.
going through the cape. Yeah, and let's take a look at that like so. Yep, it'll go through the cape if you like, or it can not. I don't know that I'm going to keep it that way. What you could do also is, remember we talked about that little leather loop and how Sam had shown us what it looked like there? What I can do is kind of pull that through.
The loop comes through. Yeah, that makes more sense from a visual aesthetic, I would say, than a practical aesthetic.
And there we go.
There we go.
There we go. And as I told you there on that, it is a magnetic closure, and it does have a pivot point on the back.
Heck yeah, dude.
But just be careful with that little pin up front. It's a heck of a piece of machinery.
Yeah, it looks good. See, that looks a little more natural to me.
I think so.
I would say. I think you'd agree.
I do.
Now that peg, let's talk about that front peg. We want to be very careful with that thing. Like that one, we want to make sure that we are super, super careful with it. Among all pieces, anything like this piece, you would want to be crazy. Any hot toy, you'd want to be super safe with it. But this one in particular, pay very special attention to it.
Yes, exactly. Well, Jeff, do you want him to have his shiny pauldron, or do you like that white blue?
Let's put on the shiny because I'm sure the people want it. Okay. I'm sure the people.
Now remember, when you do receive the figure in box, he will be with the shiny one.
You'll have that on.
All right. The cape being so dramatic does allow you to kind of pose around and get a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Out of that, I like that up and over.
Now, we still got to do our some flexibility too. So let's get that.
Yes, we do.
Let's pull that rifle off.
All right.
So that very careful. Good job.
Set that up to the side. Blink that through. Blink. All right. So let's take a look at our flexibility
and stretching.
Yep. We're going to start up here. We've talked about the way the head goes. Because you do have these shoulder pauldrons, you are going to get a bit of motion range.
Does it, because is it held on, if it's held on with Velcro, could you adjust the arms?
You could.
To go
you could if you needed to go a little bit higher than that. That's going to be kind of your upward, but you also see that that's also where your cloth tends to pull to its full extent.
We see this a lot with characters that are shoulder padded like this, is that they're not going to get that full 90-degree angle with the arms.
Correct.
You can't make them do a T, but you wouldn't want to. So no. I don't really. There's no pose in Mandalorian lore that's going to involve you making a T with your body.
Right. It also does have the shoulder moves forward and back, that kind of butterfly style. You got a very nice double hinge on the arm. Now we talked about Jeff's favorite old-timey stretches.
Let's do those old-timey stretches. I've been doing a lot of those lately because I've been trying to work out a little bit better. doing those get supers with my man Joshy G, and so I like to do them old timey stretches.
Now, you are going to be a little restricted because of the padding of the outfit as well as the armor, but move that a little. And I still can angle to the side.
There it is.
To get my repositioned trunk twists that are important. What I liked is just even standard, just general walk poses on this character is enough to bring a lot of life to the figure. The leg itself, you're going to have a lot more range of motion. It's a baggier type suit, and so you're pretty much straight out there. And you're back at about 30 degrees as well. As we've seen most of the kind of preliminary photos we saw or how he'd be posed at conventions when you first saw him, just was that general walk. That standard little walk is enough to bring this guy to life. There we go.
That would be a nice. Imagine seeing that one come at you.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt. You just know that's not gonna be great. He wasn't exactly a.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Oh, well, that's
that's
actually a really impressive leg motion there. But
Right.
yeah, with a character like this, anytime you're looking at, somebody who's covered in armor fully,
Yeah.
your range of motion is set to match what it would be in real life.
Now let's talk about hands and what you're able to do with those. On your instructions, you're going to see that it's showing you different hands to do different things with them. So let's first pull out what those hands are, and they are lettered on your instructions. They are not necessarily lettered or numbered on the actual hands themselves. So we've got our right and left trigger, right and left fist, and then the ones that he comes with are a little bit more of a relaxed. Okay?
The chill photo hands.
Exactly. But that hand is a great one for they'll show you for your tracking fob.
Good. Guy, as you're setting that up, I'm going to hit up Cassidy real quick.
Thank you.
Cassidy, how we doing on questions and comments?
We are doing very good. We had a few questions, but I feel like you've answered a lot of them about like action poses and how far the arm can go, but you've really hit a lot of the points of articulation. The question that David had earlier on YouTube about the armor plate and the restriction that it adds on placing the rifle over the shoulder, he wanted to clarify and ask if it restricts or adds pressure. If that makes sense.
It looked relatively unrestricted. It didn't seem to add pressure to it.
Yeah, where your long rifle, which is the weapon being asked about, where that is going to go over shoulder here, and then lock up on the front. So the only part that I think what he's thinking about is maybe this shoulder pauldron here, but it pretty much goes here and not to that. So just for the heck of it, let me throw that back over. All right, so kind of, I'm not seeing this, I'm doing this a little blind here, but see that that's not going to be, if your concern is that it's going to bunch up or something in there, that's not going to be an issue for you. All right, does that answer that one as far as will the armor get in the way?
Yeah, I believe so. We had another question about the armor from Marco on the Let Your Geek, or I'm sorry, just Facebook. He wanted to know, are you afraid of it deteriorating if you switch the armor too often with the Velcro?
Oh, well, I will say that I think I don't think I'm going to be swapping the pieces out that often. I know that I've ordered this particular one. I've also ordered the deluxe where he has more of the Beskar. So I think this one here I'm going to put back onto the white and the blue Pauldron, and that'll be kind of how I leave it. But I'm not worried about swapping them out so often that I'm going to damage it.
I would say the other part about that too is that he's not in motion. You know, so the Velcro, so like mixing it up, like he's not doing sprints. So the Velcro, you know, even, and I don't think it will, but even if it were to lose a small amount of integrity, it still wouldn't make that much of a difference because you're not really, you know, you're posing as opposed to in motion.
Exactly. Any others, Cass, that I might be able to do while I'm...
Yes. So Copper115 on YouTube wanted to ask, can the rifle stay in place without the pin clip being used over the shoulder?
Don't do that.
Can it stay in place? Well, okay, we're going to show that off again. What I'm going to do is show that off right after I do this last little bit with some of the hands. What I've done is I've put some accessories in both a right and left hand. Okay, so you can have his little tracking fob in that one here. See his little detonator on the other. And then I have also placed the pistol in that hand as well. So the question about his long rifle is, will it stay without putting the clasp on? Okay, in order to answer that, I'm going to do that up here. Just going to take these out for a second. Okay, we're probably on our overhead cam. We have our loop right there. I'm going to kind of lift that and through the cape like so. Okay, so it's up and over. Place in, lock in place. Now, there are no magnets or anything else on the gun. So right now what's holding it in there is that. Now I could drop it down a little bit further and turn that to the side. So the scope, it goes between the scope and the body of it. Sam, are you able to see that relatively well?
Yeah, okay. We can see it.
All right, so we can do it that way. I can flip it over. Kind of lay it on there. Thing is, by doing that, in order to kind of get that extra hold, I don't really have the length on the shoulder strap. Okay, so it is something you're going to have to do, but you can do it where if your concern is you're like, I want to put it that way, just don't want to break it. You would not have to. That right there, take a look. I'm going to have Sam get as close as you can there. I'm going to then turn it to the side. I did not push it in all the way to snap, but it is holding. So that's officially an option for you as well. And it's not...
You are such a superstar.
It doesn't look as though it's going to fall out of there. Does that help?
Yes, actually, it really does. I think we're probably closing up on questions soon, but we do have a question from Ryan in the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group who wanted to see a rifle aiming pose, if we have time for that.
I'm sure we could get to something along those lines when we come to posing, but I know, Guy, you need to do some hand stuff. But let's remember.
Well, we've shown what the hands were. What I want to show, so the ones that he comes wearing or comes on the figure are going to be your main grasping and or holding. I did another for the blaster. So I'm sorry. What you want to see is
a rifle aiming pose.
Rifle aiming pose.
Is it? I just want to go. Every time. Like
I
don't
want
know
you
why.
to hum some type of rhythmic deal for me here.
I've been, I really did enjoy watching The Mandalorian, and I even beyond that loved the behind the scenes sort of roundtables that you got with all of the
Yeah.
people involved. That series was also fantastic. The music episode was quite good.
Yeah, I really liked that one. I liked it. I mean, that's another thing that they've been doing, is the hinting toward other uses of things that we've seen before. And sort of bring back kind of the musical themes. Okay, so what I did is I added one of the gun or the blaster holding hands, and then spun the other over. But I miss you, Terry. I need you here to do. I want to do the handoff.
Yeah.
And go here, pose it.
Yeah, now you do it.
But there we go. If you need to see that it can hold there. I mean, obviously, if you want to do a crouch down or this, that, and the other, that is all your options. The more that you're going to kind of play with it.
Yeah, that I was going to say. I'm not sure we have full time to do an actual rifle aiming pose. If we could have that through there, but I think Terry would be great to do that because you'd have to kind of twist the body back, see if you could sort of.
Yep, I think those are going to be a slow move through on all that.
Yeah.
But
that's actually pretty bad, if you know what I mean. That's standing.
Yeah,
right
just
there.
I mean that's one of the things about this character that is so neat is just, even subtle movement in this guy's in your pose. And you get even when you choose whether or not you want the cape to go over a shoulder or not.
Yeah, it's an intimidating design once you see him like holding that. It is that's rad looking right there. I didn't expect a simple pose like this to be as rad as it is, but good for you, Guy.
Well, thank you.
And good for you, Hot Toys, and good for you, John Favreau. All of the people involved in the combination of this through there.
Are there any others we should answer right now?
I feel like we have gotten through most of the questions that we can answer.
Yeah. That's exciting to me. I'm glad that we've.
Yeah. It's like that we covered it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's nice to know. Nice to know that we've hopefully let everybody know that And
it's funny with this. I've put in my wish list. You can go to the like request thing for like what toys would you like us to make, and I definitely threw a couple of Mandalorian pieces in and said I would like you to make this, please.
Great, just incredible detail, not only in the sculpt but definitely in paint application here, and just the ability to just standing out of the box is still going to be one of the most impressive pieces that someone could have in their collection. Oh, very, very cool. I love the little break of color, little pops of
that little highlight it pops. The sort of it looks like an orange or a yellow ochre on the fingers.
Yeah, on the hands, which was there is kind of some throwback to other Mandalorian Boba Fett type colors there with hints of the blue or hints of the yellow there.
Yeah, when you look at, and they talk about it in the documentary. If you haven't seen it, you should. But they do talk about sort of all of the Easter eggs and fan service that is involved in that, and how much they throw back to things as simple as the original Boba Fett design and the weapons, and mentioning Life Day, and then past that to like the ice cream maker from Empire Strikes Back on Cloud City, and how that is used to house the Beskar. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's been fun to play with this one. Glad we got a chance.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. And it seems like we are I'm happy about it. I'm looking forward to a lot of other pieces through there, through the Mandalorian, and I am stoked. Now that being said, hey, you've been great. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been an amazing audience. Now, if you're interested in any of our giveaways, which you are, why don't you go ahead and check us out on Instagram at Sideshow Collectibles, and there you'll learn about our new products, events, giveaways, and more. And right now, we are holding a giveaway for the Spider-Man Advanced Suit 6th Scale, and that is going on until Monday, September 7th. And Cassidy is going to drop a link in the chats to that right about now. Right about now. She's doing it now. Now, thank you all for hanging out with us. And we're going to see you next Wednesday, because Monday is a holiday. If you're watching here in the States, that is Labor Day. So we're going to be back Wednesday, the 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific for another episode of Unsealed and Revealed. You'll get me, you'll get Guy, you'll get Cassidy, and you're going to have a good time with us. Now, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Guy, and thank you, Cassidy, for being here and being so great.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Yo, go on with that. And thank you all again for watching. And don't forget to let your geek side show.